I look at chase cards from a gameplay perspective as well as a collector's perspective. Because that is what I am, a collector. What are chase cards? Those are cards that are sought after in a particular set. When opening a booster pack of a certain set, you are chasing after these cards. First, we're going to cover the obvious, the Planeswalkers. At least one Planeswalker from every set gets onto my chase card list, and this time is no different. Let's start with the new guy, Basri? This is obviously the reveal of the new hunky white Planeswalker that will be stepping into the dreamy shoes of our favorite recently departed Therosian Walker, rest in peace Beef Slab. Looks like they decided to go with basically the same template but with shorter hair. But what I really like are his abilities. Basri Ket, 1 and 2 white to get a legendary Planeswalker, Basri. He comes in with 3 loyalty counters. You can add a loyalty counter to put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. You can -2 him whenever 1 or more token creatures attacks this turn. Create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Or you could take 6 loyalty counters off him to get an emblem that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. A lot of counter and token player happening on this card, with a nice dash of indestructible for good measure.
I don't care.
Let's start with Teferi, who is Teferi, Master of Time. You can pay 2 and 2 blue to get a legendary Planeswalker Teferi. He comes in with 3 loyalty counters. A static ability of you may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. Come back to that in a minute. You can +1 him to draw a card, then discard a card. You could take 3 loyalty counters off him to target creature you don't control phases out. Treat it and anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. Or you could -10 him and take 2 extra turns after this one. I would like to point out that that static ability can be activated every turn. Just once every turn, but every turn. In particular situations, he could get out of hand very quickly. Now we talk about the big man himself, Ugin the Spirit Dragon. You can pay 8 to get a legendary Planeswalker Ugin. He comes in with 7 loyalty. You can +2 add 2 counters to him. Ugin the Spirit Dragon deals 3 damage to any target. You could take X counters off him, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less that's 1 or more colors. So you're Eldrazi, you're okay. Or you can -10 him. You gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. What more is there to say? I love him, I want multiples of him, he is my main chase card of the set. Moving away from Planeswalkers, let's talk about another new character who has a really interesting set of abilities, Mangara the Diplomat. Yeah, I know he's not new, but this card is new, and damn it, I love it. So you can pay 3 and a white to get a legendary creature human cleric. It is a 2 power, 4 toughness. You get lifelink whenever an opponent attacks with creatures. If 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and/or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. The lifelink is a fun addition, but frankly, I'm probably never going to attack with this guy, unless my opponent has an empty board, empty hand, graveyard, a goldfish. I will only ever attack with him if I'm playing against a goldfish. Why? Because of those secondary abilities. In a commander game, I love thinking about the possibilities because those kind of abilities are a major advantage to you, but doesn't directly negatively affect your opponents. If they do certain things, you get to draw cards, but it forces them to think twice about doing those things. But since they have no idea if you're going to draw another land or your game ender, they may be inclined to go ahead and do that thing, giving you the draw. And if they decide not to take that action, then yeah, you don't get the draw, but you also have successfully slowed them down, even if only by a little bit. It's like Canadian control. You control your opponent, but only if they allow you to control them. Azusa, Lost But Seeking. You can pay 2 and a green to get a legendary creature, human monk, 1 power, 2 toughness. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. Not 1 additional land, 2 additional lands. I am so freaking happy we have Azusa in Standard. I have been playing Azusa for years, and before that I would play against decks that would play her, and I would watch with envy as my opponent would be dropping 2 extra lands per turn and ramp the hell out of the deck. It was ramp envy, and I had it hard. Also want to take a minute to talk about the cards that I'm chasing for the art. I may also be chasing them for the gameplay, but really these ones I'm chasing because of the art. I just love the art. The first one here is Containment Priest by John Stanko. It's reprinted with previous art, and I am not complaining. This art is so interesting. Your eye is drawn to the sphere in her hand, the image of the creature she is currently containing, where everything else is more subdued, and it just draws you to that, and just the implications are just so interesting. It's simple, elegant, beautiful. I love it. Sublime Epiphany by Lindsay Look. My God, I love this art. It reminds me so much of Salvador Dali, but with a modern, polished look. She just got a new fan. I know she's been illustrating for a couple of years for Magic. I love her Gilded Goose and Golden Egg, but this art just really just pulls me in. I just love it. Peer into the Abyss by Izzy. You've probably seen on the internet where somebody takes a picture of a celebrity and then photoshops it to turn it into stuff of nightmares. Izzy did that with this. This is one of those pieces of art that I love because it's so interesting and haunting. I love this art in the same way I love a good thriller. It's not a beautiful piece of art, but it sticks with you. Brash Taunter by Svetlin Velinov. Yeah, this card, I look at this card and I'm 12 again, in the dungeon, my local comic shop when I was a kid. And I'm opening a pack of Magic cards, and the art just reminds me so much of early Magic. The only real difference that I can see is the art on this card is much more vibrant than older cards. Maybe that's just a thing that just all the older cards I've seen now have been out for a long time and therefore have dulled with age. I don't know. But I just really like this card. It seems to like it could easily have fit in with Alpha or Beta or Unlimited. It's just I just love this art. Svetlin Velinov is also fantastic because if you look at his other art, you can see the breadth of his abilities. A lot of those cards do not look like they were done by the same artist, and I love that. The final card I'm going to talk about today is Fabled Passage by Howard Lyon. I'm ending on a card with reprinted art, but that's because this art is just so interesting. It's one of my favorite pieces by Howard Lyon. But another reason why I wanted to end on this is because Howard Lyon is not only a fantastic artist, but he's also just such a great guy. And I just wanted to call out this piece of art. I was just so happy to see it in again. He also did Mangara, the Diplomat, and I love that piece as well. I had a chance to chat with him at Magic Fest in the before times, and it was just such a wonderful experience. And so I get, warm fuzzies when I look at this art. It's just a great piece of art, and I just love it. The color, the composition, what more can I say? Apparently not much, because I'm out of time. When you come back around, I'm going to chat with you about some of my chase cards for Jumpstart. You might also catch me streaming Arena on Twitch, or one of my other shows like Creativity in Progress or Noobs in Progress. But for That Dad Scoops, that's all for now. Like, subscribe, hit that bell thingy, you know the drill. Thanks for taking a minute to have a chat with me. Y'all take care.